So Doris, we try, or at least we try to not catastrophize about what goes on every day. I stand by exactly what I said about Donald Trump. We've known him, we've seen him. I still believe he would do whatever he could get away with doing, and do anything to anybody that stood in his way of even more power. But we have a system of checks and balances, Madisonian democracy, thanks to the judicial branch mainly, held the line against Donald Trump's attacks on American democracy. I am curious, though, what your thoughts are as we start to move into an election year and we see just how grand the stakes are here, how massive the consequences are for what Americans decide to do over the next 14, 15 months.
You know, Joe, I think on the one hand, he has already told us in the CPAC talk that what he wants to do in that next term is retribution. He wants reprisals. And what I'm reminded of today is this very day, June 16th, was also when Lincoln accepted at the State House his nomination by his Illinois convention to be running for the president of the United States. And what he was arguing throughout his entire presidency was you do not want retribution. In his very last day as a cabinet office, in the cabinet, he told the people, I want to extinguish hate. I don't want vindictiveness. If the people who rebel leaders want to leave the country, shoo them, get them out of here. If they stay, they will be punished. But I want us to get back to a union, just the opposite of where former President Trump is now. But on the other hand, I think we've been seeing something, even in this talk, as we've had in these last couple of minutes. Public sentiment is slowly changing. That's different from public opinion. We get all screwed up as soon as we hear public opinion. Oh, my God, they still like Trump. The Dallas Morning News, the Wall Street Journal, Karl Rove today, the Christianity Today editorial. People are beginning to say that we know what he did was wrong. And even if the judge, we don't know what those rulings she's going to make are, the real battle is public sentiment. That's different from public opinion. What Lincoln said, it's a really feeling that people begin to sense that something's not right with what is being done, and we want something different. And I really think we're beginning to move in that direction. Do we really want a slogan, as his so far has been, of retribution or reprisal, or America's a mess, I'm going to make it better? Or do we want the kind of slogans like Square Deal, Fair Deal, New Deal, Morning in America? The American country still is an optimistic country that wants us to move forward, and I really think it's time for him to go, and that people are beginning to feel that. And if public sentiment keeps speaking out, that's the battle that wasn't won after January 6th. I thought it would be won then. I thought then, and that's the only scary thing. You think it before, maybe this is going to not be the time. But I do think the accumulation is setting in, and people who were not speaking out before are beginning to. His opponents are going to have to say something. But more important, the people are going to say, do we really, really want to go through this again? And I don't think they're going to say yes. I really don't.
Doris, let's dig in just a little bit more on Abraham Lincoln. On this anniversary of let's talk about the Lincoln anniversary. It's always struck me that after the South started a war over slavery that killed 700,000 Americans, it was Abraham Lincoln that talked about with malice toward none. Even after all of that, it was Grant who showed extraordinary grace at Appomattox, despite the fact that he had so many people that he knew killed by the Confederates. It was Sherman, even after his march across Georgia, his march to the sea. He got to Savannah and actually told the Confederates, listen, I'm coming north. I'm going to do the same thing through the Carolinas that I did to Georgia, but I make you this promise. You can leave your families here. You can leave your wives here. You can leave your children here in Savannah. You all surrendered, so we didn't burn it down. I'm coming north for you. You can go north, but I'm going to take care of your families. And I'm going to go around Savannah and let my soldiers know that their safety is in my hands. So you go, you worry about me because I'm coming after you. but you don't have to worry about your wife. You don't have to worry about your kids. That is the extraordinary grace, the opposite of retribution that Lincoln, Grant, and Sherman showed during the most horrendous of American wars. And this is an emotion, this is a character trait completely absent in Donald Trump and unfortunately in all those who are around Donald Trump still.
You know, Joe, you're so right. I mean, vindictiveness was at its height, of course, as the war was coming to an end. All that everybody had suffered. And there's a whole group of people out there that wanted to be vindictive. They didn't want anyone in the Confederate government to be able to be teachers or lawyers. But the leadership stood up and said, we're not going to do that. We're going to extinguish hate. You know, in fact, Lincoln said, I want them to have their guns to go back. They need to shoot the birds or animals in their property. Let them up easy. Let them up. And that's what we need now. We need leadership to begin to, that vindictiveness is going to be out there for people who are upset with what is happening to Trump because they believe in him. But the leaders have to be able to speak out and begin to educate the country. One of the things Lincoln always said is if you allow yourself to fester with poisonous emotions like anger or vindictiveness or trying to get back at people, you'll poison yourself. And that's what will happen to this country unless those moments of vindictiveness are squashed. And I think we're seeing more people now that are going to be willing to understand that. And that's the battle that's going to be fought right now. But I don't think we're on a losing end of that battle. I know I've said that before, but I really think now we're seeing it.